Hello, this is Jeff Scott, your instructor for the online version of 152-163 Relational Database Design at Blackhawk Technical College for the fall 2015 semester. What I plan on doing right now is to spend about 10 minutes, hopefully max, going over the syllabus. Then what you're going to find is for each chapter that we go over in the book, and we'll go over, I think there's 7 of them, we'll look at that in just a minute. There'll be probably 2 lectures, one in which I'll go over the PowerPoint slides that come with the book, and the other one where I'll actually be doing some demonstration. You'll have at least one assignment for each chapter. So, again, my name is Jeff Scott. If you don't know, all of the business division instructors are housed in room 2503 at Blackhawk. My office hours, if you ever have to come in to see me, some people tell me these aren't the greatest hours, but they work the best for me. I'm online virtually every night, so if you've got a question, please ask. And we do have 2 lab assistants that are going to be available to give you help in this class. All right, and those lab assistants are John Wanda. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So John Wanda, who is at jwanda at blackhawk.edu, and Mike Wegman. And Mike is at mwegman at blackhawk.edu. All right, and even though this is an online course, they're still around, they're still there to give you help if you need it. Don't be afraid at all to contact me directly by phone or by email. You'll get a lot faster response by email, just so you know. All right, but John and Mike are available for help also. So here is my phone number. Again, I'm at jscott at blackhawk.edu. I can probably take this while we're taking a look at it here and make this a little bit bigger as well. All right. So, course information. Again, the name of the course is Relational Database Design. It's online, so a meeting time and room are really not applicable right here. The course number is 152-163. The number of credits is 3. This is a class in Microsoft Access. I'm not going to read any of the rest of that to you, but as said there, I plan on covering the entire Microsoft Access portion of our text. All right, if we look at the course goal, it says you will demonstrate a beginning understanding, somewhere in between a beginning and an intermediate understanding of Microsoft Access. All right, and it says programming concepts, but it's basically Microsoft Access concepts. So our textbook, and I took this right off of Amazon, just so you're aware of that, but there's a good picture of it right here. All right, it's Shelley Cashman series, Microsoft Access 2013 complete. The author is Philip Pratt and Mary Last. Now, if I quickly take a look through the book here, what you'll notice when you look through it is the first section here is on Microsoft Office 2013 and Windows 8. I don't profess to be an expert on either, and I'm not going to go over any of that material. So that's about 60 some pages that I'm just not going to touch. The next section is on Office 365. Again, I'm not going to go through that at all. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to pick it up starting with Chapter 1 under the Access portion. Databases and database objects and introduction. All right, we'll talk about tables, we'll talk about forms, reports, queries, etc. Chapter 2, we'll go into queries in more depth. And let me mention in Chapter 1, actually you're given an example of how to create a database, how to create tables. I think they might even have a simple database join in there. There are report examples, query examples, form examples, but all that stuff is covered in much greater depth and breadth of coverage later on in the book. So Chapter 2 is querying a database. You learn how to write all sorts of different kinds of queries, way too many to mention. Chapter 3 is on database maintenance. You learn how to do update, how to make changes to the database structure, how to add things, remove things, modify things that are in there, etc. Chapter 4 is a beginning chapter on reports and forms. Then notice in Chapter 5, multi-table forms, so they're more advanced form handling. Chapter 6, advanced report techniques. And Chapter 7, advanced form techniques. So again, those 400 and I think about 72 or something like that pages of the book that constitute the Microsoft Access, those 7 chapters, that's what we're going to be covering in this class. Supplies, there's nothing extra that you need. I have to show you a couple of other things in just a couple minutes also, okay? All right. I'll expect you to save your work right to your drive or email it to me directly. Now, there's a little bit more to it than that, and I'll explain that in just a minute, all right? There will be approximately 7 assignments. There may be 1 or 2 more, we'll see. All right, and those 7 assignments, since this is an online class, will constitute 100% of your grade. Now, you'll notice here it says core abilities. And if I take my mouse and I click on the link, this is right to the Blackhawk page on college information, and they talk about in here core abilities. And they mention the 7 core abilities that Blackhawk has. Communicate professionally, use appropriate technology, work effectively in teams, demonstrate professional work behavior, show respect for diversity, solve problems efficiently, lead by example. I believe those are all 7. Now, the reason that I just took a second to go over that with you is what's supposed to happen during your time at Blackhawk is if you go on for a 2-year degree or a 1-year diploma, interwoven in all the classes you take are supposed to be these 7 principles. Now, you won't get all of those in every class, and you certainly won't get all of those in this class. More than anything else in this class will be use appropriate technology and solve problems efficiently. As far as competencies, what I hope that you get out of this course, I came up with a half dozen right here. And notice what they say. Explain basic relational database management system terminology. That's chapter 1 of your book. All right, and then throughout the rest of the book, you're going to demonstrate a knowledge of the same. Then starting in the, chapter 2, demonstrate the ability to query or ask questions of a database. All right, chapter 3, demonstrate the ability to maintain an Access database. And chapters 4 through 7, demonstrate the ability to create Access database forms and Access database reports. All right. Now, all of the information for this class is available both on Blackboard, and I'm going to show you how to get to that in just a couple minutes, and on the P drive. I'm going to show you that in just a couple minutes. All right. If you have a documented disability, what you think I should know about, the information is down here. That may be moot because this class is indeed an online class. In this class, again, I'd prefer you don't phone me. I'd prefer you email me, and I'll attempt to turn around any emails or phone calls if you do give me them in a 24-hour period. Of course, if you call me on Friday, chances are I won't get back to you till Monday. If you email me on Friday, chances are I'll get back to you by Saturday. All right? All homework should be emailed to me, all right, ideally in a zip folder, and as it says, it'll be returned with comments and grade in the same kind of manner. All right, now a couple things, all right, just so you can see what's going on here. And this is more for the benefit of those people who maybe have never done this before. All right, the first thing is, if I go out here to blackhawk.edu, so I go out to the school's website, and I'm saying you should do this also if you have not already. Go out to Online Services and find your MyBTC login. So I'm going to click right there, and you'll notice I've got mine pre-populated, but J. Scott, and there's my password. So you put in yours, of course, okay? And it's normally your first initial and your last name. There may or may not be a number after it, depending on how typical, let's just say, your last name is. So I click Login. Again, all of you should do this as soon as you possibly can. Now, I haven't put the stuff out there yet, but if you click Blackboard, all of the classes that you have for which there is a Blackboard component, the stuff will be out there. Now, what I'm going to do, this is going to sound a little strange, but since I have not yet put the stuff out there for this class, I just found out I was teaching it 3 or 4 days ago. So the stuff for this class and for the website development class isn't currently on there. So I'll just grab, for example, the stuff I've got in here for the JavaScript class, just to show you how this stuff will be set up. The stuff you see in here will be links to every class that you have for which an instructor has put anything out on Blackboard. All right? So I'm clicking the Intro to Programming with JavaScript. Again, this will look similar to the way it's going to look for you also. All right? So course guide, there's the syllabus. It'll be both in Word and PDF format here. You'll have a course evaluation, and I can actually show you that because I think I printed that out. Let's see. Yeah. And you will do this at 9 weeks, and you will do this at 18 weeks. It's online, okay? And if you're really worried about anonymity because you're doing this online for an online class, then either don't fill it out or just send it to Blackhawk Technical College. And you can send it to me if you want, but if you feel funny about doing that, send it to Blackhawk Technical College, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you a couple more names here. You can send it to the secretaries. All right? So you can send it to either Tammy Rail, and she's at TROEHL@blackhawk.edu, and the other one is Jennifer, and her last name's long, it's Glissendorf. So that's at glissendorf@blackhawk.edu. So you can always send it to them. All right? If you have any problems with the way I'm teaching the class, the content that I'm giving you, not giving you, the way it's being presented, etc., I'd appreciate it if you'd get a hold of me first and let me know. If for some reason you feel you have and you still are not satisfied, Helen Praber, and I believe she's H. Praber, it might be Prober, I don't know. That's the Associate Dean of the Business Division. And Gina, I'll have to check and see how her last name is spelled. It's McConaughey. Let's see. Let's see. So this is going to look a little funky, of course, because of the font. No, I guess it just changed it, so good. And she's at G. McConaughey at blackhawk.edu. All right? So again, not to belabor this too much, but with the information I've given you here, lab assistant, lab assistant, administrative assistant, some people call them secretaries, associate dean of business, and dean of business. And you already hopefully have my information and again, I am the instructor for the class. All right. Now, again, going back here, this is the way that all of my classes are set up. So there'll be a syllabus, course evaluation. All of the videos will be put under content in a folder that's called videos. Notice right here there's nothing there because this is for a class that hasn't started yet. All right. If there is source code provided for the book, I'll put it out there. PowerPoints, I'll put them out there. In class, I won't have a folder like that because that's stuff we do in class. Since this is an online class, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Homework will be put here. Announcements, and in a little bit later on today, it'll literally have something like this. From me regarding this class, hello and welcome to the class. This will change a little bit because it's an online class. All right. I also set up a discussion board, and I will set one up for this class. I will monitor it, but very infrequently. So you come out here, and literally, as it says, there's no items found. So I can create a thread. All right, what's the message? Subject. Where's the homework? I thought Jeff said the homework would be available today. And you'll notice once you do that, we've started a discussion thread. Okay? I'm going to delete that. It doesn't really make a whole heck of a lot of sense right now to have that on there. All right, so that's all the information that you're going to find in there. All right? Now, the other thing that you need to know, all right, is what you are going to have to do. And hopefully when I tell you this, it won't be too confusing. But if it is, you'll have to let me know, okay? And if you're only taking online classes with me, it may be a little harder because if you have problems, please come in and I'll be glad to show you, all right? But you type in this, at any browser you want, desktops.blackhawk.edu. And I'm going to make that a little bigger so that you can see it. desktops.blackhawk.edu. You can do that at any browser. It can be IE, it can be Chrome, it can be Firefox. All right. If you have me also for the 157 class, I'm going to recommend that you use the latest and greatest in browsers, all right, which is Firefox. But you'll notice, and I've got actually, Chrome, but I've got Firefox up here. Here's Chrome. So if I come into Chrome right here and I type that in, desktops.blackhawk.edu. So if I type that in and hit enter, it comes back and it says, what do you want to do here? I recommend that you install the VMware Horizon client. You click this and you literally save that to your desktop. All right. And if you do that, you're going to have something that looks like, and I've already got mine up and running, so let me stop the run right here. All right, if you do that, you're going to have something, once you do that, that's going to look like, sorry, I've got a lot of stuff open here. All right, you're going to have an icon that's going to look like this right here. At least that was last year's, and it says VMware View Client. All right, you put that on there, you install it to your machine, double click on it, that should start it up. Just accept all the defaults. But when you double click on it, then it's going to come up and look like this. It says here desktops.blackhawk.edu, and if I click connect, then if I type in JScott, which is my login and my password, and leave the domain set, I think yours is set to BTC as well, and click login. Once you've done that, you will only have the students' development desktops. Once you click connect, and the reason I'm telling you this is it's going to bring up another desktop. So notice I've got two different desktops here. So if I click the minus sign, that's my regular desktop. All right. And if I click the other one, that's my virtual desktop. And what you have available to you under the virtual desktop is, it'll say all programs here. And if you click here and you work your way down, you'll find Microsoft Office 2013. And underneath there is Access. So you don't have to go out and buy Office. Everything that you'll need will be available to you. Now that's the good news. The bad news is, let's suppose that this was your assignment, this thing called test here. This is just something I've been playing with. But let's suppose this was your assignment. I cannot get to your virtual desktop. It's yours. Anything that you put on there, for some reason, and it doesn't happen often, it happens if we've got 70 of these virtual desktops running a semester, maybe happen once or twice that somehow one might get corrupted. So anything you've got on there, you should also save to your H drive, so which is your personal drive. So notice if I click Start and Computer, that from here I can get to my H drive and I can get to my P drive. So you can get to those from home. All that you need is an internet connection. Now, if for some reason you don't want to download that client, you just don't want to do it. All right, I don't know why, but you don't want to do it. Then, as mentioned, you can type in, you can click the VMware Horizon HTML access, where boom. Notice it's from right here. You still have to log in. But now I'm in. So I click, again, you'll have just students there, so I click that, and I'm still in. I recommend, especially if it's your own machine, click the save password. And it'll look exactly as it did before. So you can get in either of those ways. All right? So to kind of summarize again, we went over the syllabus. All right, we spent quite a bit of time going over the syllabus. After going over the syllabus, we talked a little bit about the course evaluation. All right. And after that, that's pretty much what we've gone over. I showed you the book, and I mentioned to you what we're going to be covering in the book. So when I come back in the next lecture, what I'm going to do is literally go over the PowerPoints for Chapter 1. The PowerPoints will be out there on the system, but just to show you very quickly, I might even have a couple of them up. No, maybe I don't. All right. But I'm only going to go over the PowerPoints between chapters 1 and 7, not in the same lecture, of course. All right. But we'll have 7 different lectures to cover the PowerPoint material. So you'll notice with the first chapter, it's 47 slides. So I'll go over all those slides. All right. And then I'll get online and I'll actually start to work and go through some of the examples that are shown in the book. Anytime I tell you, hey, I'm doing this and I expect you to turn this in, all right, that's exactly what I'll expect. What I'm going to try to do also as soon as possible is to give you a list of what we'll be doing and what the homework will be for each assignment and the maximum due date for each one of those. So again, welcome to the class. If you have any questions, please let me know as soon as possible. Thank you.